In this video, we're doing an FBA Roadmap Student interview with my guy Alex, who was actually able to quit his 9 to 5 as an engineer through selling on Amazon online arbitrage. We're also going to be raising the price of the FBA Roadmap on May 29th as we're adding a bunch of new content. So if you're interested in saving 50 bucks as well as taking advantage of everything the FBA Roadmap offers, 12 plus hours of content, a bunch of bonuses, exclusive software discounts, weekly Zoom call, private Discord, and all that, you can check out the link in the description for all info in terms of the price increase, new content, etc. So I'll see you inside and let's get right into the interview. Alex, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, good to be here.
Absolutely. So as we were talking about off camera, I think you and hopefully myself are really good examples about how to, really build up with online arbitrage the right way. But to start out, can you just want to give the audience a little bit of context into, what you used to do, what you're doing now, getting some numbers as well with Amazon?
Sure. Yeah. So I started selling on Amazon a little over 2 years ago, and it was definitely a slow start. I took the route of not using others as an example of learning from their mistakes. I made all my own mistakes. I wasn't looking at watching YouTube videos on how to source. I wasn't learning how to use Keepa. The first like 6 months, actually, I didn't even know what Keepa was. So if you guys are all the beginners out there are using it now, then you're at least a step ahead of where I started. But yeah, it was I just was test buying a lot of products, going super wide on things, not really knowing. Like I said, when I finally figured out Keepa, I still didn't know how to use it all that well. So I would see something profitable in that moment, but not understanding, if it was going to be profitable in a couple of weeks or a month from now. So making those mistakes along the way. Then I started finding content like yours and Warner's and stuff like that, and really learning how to understand what a good product is, how to kind of project how many sales you could get or how well the product should do in a couple weeks. And then I really started to, make some better purchases based on learning that information. And I was able to scale pretty quickly, over the last year. And then I was able to actually quit my full-time job to do Amazon full time. So that's really awesome. But it took, a lot of learning I made a lot of mistakes with buying bad products, stuff that either sold slow, that I didn't understand sales rank, or just, instant tank the second I bought it. So, learning those things and avoiding those things in the future definitely helped me scale a lot better.
Yeah, and at the same time, like those mistakes are important to see. The nice part is if people are watching this, they're in a great situation to avoid a lot of those mistakes you and I had to go through. Basically, did you start out with OA specifically?
No, I was doing like only retail arbitrage. I started with like the old school retail arbitrage, like Goodwill to eBay flips, right?
Oh,
I feel like a lot of people, kind of that maybe that's how they get their feet wet with stuff. But it's just I was like, oh, I'm going to 5 Goodwills a week or whatever, and I'm finding 1 or 2 items, and then I go to retail arbitrage, and then there's only a certain amount of Targets and Walmarts and stuff, and then I find I was like hitting these plateaus of like not being able to scale, and then once I found the online arbitrage, then I really unlocked like how scalable that side of the business is. So went all in on that. And I don't really, unless there's something going on like a Bed Bath and Beyond, store closing, I'm not going to do much retail arbitrage anymore. Online is just, there's too much to do to be able to scale on that side.
yeah, online you're a lot more leveraged, right? Because you can work with other sellers, you can have virtual assistants help out. It's much less based on time and a lot more based on skill. And the problem is when you're new, you don't have much scale. But once that builds up, you're in a really good position where you can, sit and source or, talk to some other sellers and be able to make some good money with it, because it's just as much work to buy 5 of something versus to buy 50 of it. It's just, one extra click on the keyboard basis. So you want to talk through what your current operation looks like numbers wise? Are you using a prep center? Do you have VAs? How does that work?
Yeah. So I have 2 VAs, both are sourcing for me full time. I only got them about a month ago. But it really freed up some of my time. I found I was spending too much time sourcing, and I was neglecting, a lot of the other day-to-day tasks of the business. So, looked to hire 1 VA. 2 did really well in the interview process. So I said, why not try them? They've both been doing really well for me. So, they help me basically hit my spend goal most days. If if there's an off day, I'm still sourcing, but just not as much as I was. And then I do have a prep center. That really helps take a lot off my plate. I mean, I only got a prep center back in January. And like I said, I was selling on Amazon for over 2 years. So it was a lot of prep myself. And I, especially in like Q4, that really kind of pushed me to want to off-put some of that, work to a prep center. So, I was easily packing 1 to 2 shipments a week and probably over 10 to 15 hours a week just prepping. And I was like, I could be sourcing that time, during that time. So easy decision to switch to prep center. I found one that I like pretty well. So that's helpful. But yeah, basically I'm, still sourcing on the side a little bit, but I'm able to kind of spread out my tasks with some of those, not having to source all the time because I have VAs, not having to prep all the time because I have a prep center.
Yeah, and I assume that extra time is what allowed you to play more basketball and also start doing some of the social media stuff as well. So you want to talk a little bit about, because people are always hearing me talking about community, that side thing. You're a great example of someone who's utilized that really, really well as well, I would say. So how has that been important and helpful to you?
Yeah. The social media side is big, and it is definitely helpful to have more time to post on social media, because I feel like just getting the community involved, or like having people that haven't seen your videos before reach out to you or want to share leads with you or whatever it is. I've had plenty of people through the DMs reach out and want to hop on a Zoom, and then we chat for an hour, and we end up sharing like 4 or 5 leads together, and something that would have never happened if I didn't post the video and didn't get people to see it and reach out to me. So yeah, social media is big. I've met a bunch of people in the space through social media, just by having a presence. And then I'm at the point where I feel like I've been doing this long enough where I can post the educational content and provide that value to the viewers. But again, there's other sellers that, whether they find it valuable or not, they're still seeing that I'm in the space and contributing, which kind of builds friendships that way. And then you end up sourcing together or just having that connection, and that can go a long way in business, because doing stuff on your own just takes so much longer. Just the fact that like you can reach out to somebody, hey, I know you sold this in the past. Did you have IP complaints? Or hey, this product, did this. Have you sold this brand? And somebody, someone on Amazon's already done what you haven't. So just the resource to have that available is huge.
Yeah, it's way more work to do it on your own, and it's way more fun to be on, like Discord, find people on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, wherever that you would be friends with if Amazon didn't exist, right? Because the
Yeah.
key in this is you can choose your coworkers, right? And weirdly enough, most people choose having no coworkers. Meanwhile, the people with all the coworkers are making all the money. Basically, so like that's the beauty, is that stuff's free.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, you and I got on the phone probably back in December or so. And we would always be in the Roadmap weekly Zooms. Well, I still see you in there sometimes. It's just like, it's really, really tough doing it on your own, not having any resources you can go to. And it's also a lot more fun, because like we're pretty lucky in that a lot of cool people do Amazon. Like we were hanging out in Miami at the Miami Sellers Conference. That was a really good time as well, and got to see a bunch of people from online, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. There's like, it's hard to put a price to like the value that like having friends in the space does, but you just figure it out over time when you start talking to people, and you can, like I said, you share leads. Sometimes you hop on Zoom, you get in a Discord group with someone that they introduce you to a bunch of other sellers, and it's only going to help the business. There's really no downside to trying to connect with people in the space.
Sure. And it all costs $0 as well. So what's the
Yep.
path forward? What do you think? You think you're going to go more like Warner, build a big OA team? Do you think you're going to get into some wholesale? Where do you see this in 6 months?
Yeah, I'd like to do like more of the like building a team. I think is kind of a cool aspect of this business. I would like to get more sourcing VAs, maybe even an admin VA at some point. So yeah, the goal is to just scale OA for the time being. I don't have too much interest in pursuing wholesale, but I guess if the opportunity comes up, I wouldn't pass it by. But yeah, OA scaling to 100K months would be ideal over the next couple months. I know back to school season's coming up, so that's a big focus. And I've kind of been like when certain sales happen, I'm training my current 2 VAs to like focus on those things, or if there's cash back going on to put their focus towards certain things. So I think the way I have my VAs trained and the setup, hopefully it makes it easier to scale and bring on more people in the future. But yeah, I'd love to just keep scaling OA and pushing out content and kind of moving that way.
Sure. And you were an engineer for your 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, I was an engineer out of college, did that for four or 5 years, and then uh, decided to go. The money made sense to move to this full time, and I've been doing this for 7, 8 months now, full time. So
Yeah.
it's been
Feels
an
good.
awesome switch. I love the flexibility. I love the how much more time I can focus on this and build connection, because you only have so much time when you're doing a 9 to 5. You're exhausted, right? Maybe you still want to work out, cook dinner, whatever it is, but then you still have to find time for the business. Now I just have so much more time during the day, and then I can, go play basketball after a long day or something. So flexibility is awesome.
Sure. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask as we finish up here, but just give us the rundown on, say you were starting over today, knowing what you know now, what would you do? Action steps, just kind of how differently would you think about stuff to get to where you are today in 1/4 of the time in 6 months rather than, 2 years?
Yeah, I think the first thing, if I had a little bit of extra capital, I would definitely either take on mentorship or join a course or some kind of community where, even if it's paid, where I can get information so much quicker than I would on my own. YouTube videos have some value, and there's plenty of people posting like content, but really when you get to like one-on-one conversations and, messaging, like I said, a Discord group where you have access to 50 to 500 people, whatever it is, where you can get information at your fingertips without having to like go through a slow, painful mistake on your own. That's going to help you scale that much faster. If you don't have a ton of capital and you just want to, you can consume a ton of like free content. There's a ton of stuff out there. And then just really learn the charts and learn Keepa and understand what a good product is. If you can minimize the bad buys in the beginning, although it's inevitable that you're going to have some, but if you can really learn from those things and shorten the learning curve on, what makes a good product, what makes a good buy, and then you feel more confident in your purchases, that's only going to help you move the business forward, that much quicker.
Yep, completely agree. So definitely, really look to just kind of immerse yourself in the Amazon space, whether it's paid, whether it's free. In general, there's tons of resources. We put out tons of resources for you guys to take advantage of. So make sure you guys are doing that right there. And Alex, where can people follow up with you on social media and YouTube, etc.?
All my handles are ACFlip17, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Don't really do much there, but yeah, post plenty of YouTube videos and try to get some educational reels out there as much as I can to provide value. That's the goal.
All right. Well, everyone go check out his links in the description. Follow Alex, and thanks for joining me today, man.
Thanks, Miles. Good to be here.